What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to episode 2 of BiLLz Builds. I'm glad you're all here. From what everybody said from episode 1, it seemed like you all really enjoyed it and that you really like those builds. And I'm super stoked to hear that because this episode, we've got another build planned that I think you're all really going to enjoy and is really, honestly, a step up from these builds we've got right here. So for those of you who are new to this series, in this series I am basically playing in a large biome single player world, and I'm essentially documenting my progress to become a better builder. So episode 1 we built this house right here, which is kind of like a benchmark of my current skills, and then we built that iron farm you can see just in the corner. I'm not going to turn any further just because the new build's out there and we don't want to spoil that. So this next build is going to be a moss farm. As we said, we're still early game, and so we're setting up a bunch of farms that we're going to need for a lot of resources. We've got the iron farm, which will come in handy. We've got a moss farm that we're building this episode, and then next episode we're going to build a mud farm. And with those three things, we'll kind of have the foundation we need to start doing a lot of the decorating around the village. I say we can face over here this way now just because this bamboo perfectly blocks the build, but it's right out there. But before we get to the build, if you remember last episode, we didn't finish the interior of the iron farm. And as you can see some copper blocks in there. So yes, we have finished that interior and we're going to show that. And then we're going to show, the exterior and interior build of this moss farm. But obviously, as you can see, we've got some bamboo right here, which means we have been doing some adventuring while we were away. And as you can see, we got ourselves jungle, dark oak, and acacia, as well as some, cocoa beans. Oh, we got another jungle. Cocoa beans, and some mushroom blocks. And so that adventure was super fun. What we ended up having to do is, so all along over here, a couple hundred blocks is a big ocean. And so we just went right out that way. And we ended up hitting a dark oak forest and a jungle. And then much further past that, we managed to find a savanna to get some acacia. Additionally, we also found a cool little island that I don't know if it's in the recording or not, but it might be fun to do some building on in the future. And we found an ocean monument, which we will eventually get as well because we're going to want those nice blue blocks. And so with that, let's get into a time lapse of the adventures before we get into these builds. So as you can see, we had a great time on that adventure, going out to that jungle, getting the jungle wood, the bamboo, and the cocoa beans, as well as that dark oak forest. Unfortunately, the footage for the acacia was not working for some reason when I was pulling up the replay. So I couldn't show that. But now that we've shown those adventures, we're all ready to get into the interior of these buildings. So right here, we've got the iron farm, right where we left it off. Oop, fell in a hole. I have no idea what that's for. Anyways, so like we said, we did the exterior of the iron farm. We did end up having to change this door to an iron door, and I literally just stuck the button right there for now. And that's because we're in hard mode, and so not hardcore obviously, but hard difficulty. And so the zombies kept piling up right here, and they can break down the door, and I just don't want to have to deal with that. So let's go ahead and go on inside. And so what we've done is right here, temporarily, we've put a infinite lava generator. And so I've just been building that up. We might keep this, we might move it. And then over here, I literally just have an ender chest with all my goodies and whatnot. But yeah, so here we go. Here's the new and improved interior. So it's a bit to take in. And we're going for like kind of an industrial warehouse-ish style. So right here we have got stalagmite and stalactite. I never know which one's which, but anyways, we can collect these and we can get dripstone from them. I don't know if I'll need it, but I figured it's nice to have, and so I've just been building this up over time. We've got ourselves a nice little smelter, and all of our copper is going through that. Don't worry, we've got a lot more. It's currently just sitting right, you can barely see it, right there at a pillar to oxidize. And then let's go up here first. So right up here, we have got a little basalt generator. We're going to need some basalt for future builds. And so we've got this nice basalt generator. And it's got a whole bunch of hoppers running underneath that'll help collect all of that. And so we've got some polished basalt here, some smooth basalt, and then just some basalt. As you can, I did not know I had that much, so we've done a lot right here. We've got, the normal spawn platform right there. And then if we go up here, this right here is a cobblestone and stone generator. It just depends on what pick I'm using. So like that was cobblestone, but if I use the silk touch pick, then I can get stone. And I'm gonna go put this, oh, hello. Got a double right there. I've only seen a quad spawn once, so I know it can happen. Usually it's like 2 or 3. But yeah, so then besides all of those little gizmos in the storage, we've improved the little bays. So we come down here and we can access, the zombie and the villagers right there. They must have bred or something because there's a lot of them in there. And then nothing will spawn here because these are bottom slabbed. So that's why there's no more torches on the ground. It just looks a lot cleaner that way. And then the same thing comes for this little spot over here. So we come down, and it's a nice clean little, AFK collection area. I've got this right here to make the bone meal from all the poppies. So I can just grab those, throw them up there. And so, yeah, and then I can set my spawn and whatnot. And I've done quite a bit of AFKing here. This goes to one spawn chamber, this goes to another, and this goes down to, I don't know if I've said it last semester. Semester? There's no semesters in Minecraft. Okay, take 2, here we go. And this right here goes down to a little something I have been working on. I don't know if I mentioned it last episode, but we have dug out these 3 chunks from here down. And the reason we've done that is these 3 chunks are actually slime chunks. And of course there's not one there. But yeah, so we have got all of these resources. You see some slime balls in there. We've got stone upon stone upon stone upon stone upon andesite, gravel, and other things. So we are just chock full of resources. Also, I didn't know if you heard that, but I installed a dynamic sound mod. So listen really carefully when I open this chest. See how it's got a little bit of echo? I think it's really cool. And so, yeah, so I might, continue to tweak that and whatnot, but I think it's really, really cool, and it just helps with the immersion of the game. But yeah, so that's what we've done for the interior. We've got some ingots here, and then, yeah, I've been doing a lot of AFKing at the iron farm, so we've got tons of iron. And the nice thing is I've got, a far render distance and simulation distance. And so whether I'm here or the moss farm or any of the areas around here, this will keep just churning out iron. So yeah, there you have it. There is the interior. Got some cool, industrial looking machines for the basalt and for the stone and cobblestone. And yeah, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and sleep, and let's get moving on to the moss farm build. Alrighty. So like I said, this episode we are going to build ourselves an iron farm. Iron farm, we already built that. That's right there. like I said, this episode we are going to build ourselves a nice moss farm. That's what that is. That right there is a moss farm, people. So we've got the layout right here of the build. I actually already built it, and the building was just too big. Like I started doing the interior, and I was like, this is just awkwardly larger than the farm, and I don't know what to put in there. I tried putting in like a cactus farm, but it just didn't look good. So I actually downsized the building in my creative world, retextured it a little bit, added some more details because I've kind of learned a few new tricks since then, and then um, demolished it, absolutely tore it down in this world, and then now we're going to build it up again. So here's all the materials for it. As you can see, I'm actually still missing a couple because these are from the old design. And like the new one, like I don't think we use any of this pink terracotta. We had it in some of this original designs. I'm actually going to move that over here. But the moss farm runs really well. We've already run it for quite a while. And so we've got all of this moss. And then, I just kept some of these bushes and then some sand and cactus because we might keep the cactus growing in here for now. Because why not? So this is a moss farm made by Mr. Bear Buns with a Z, linked down in the description, of course. I have modified it though. So in his design, he puts the moss straight into composters and then recycles it back in. I, however, I got me a zombie. Where did you come from? Yeah, my weather sounds aren't working right now. I don't know why. I'm honestly not complaining because rain is really loud and annoying. I have no idea where that zombie came from. But yeah, so that's a thing. Not gonna complain. Anyways, yeah, so I've modified his design so that we just go straight into these chests. And the chests are at that height because the interior, you'll see once we finish the interior, they'll need to be at that height. And then I've modified this part right here so that there's a random glass block. Don't know why that's there. But I've modified it so that the way it works is it'll run only when there's bone meal in here. And then when there's no more bone meal in there, it'll stop running. So like I don't have any bone meal in there. Let's see if I have any bone meal in these chests. No. Yeah, okay, so look, I've got some bone meal and some bones. So if we take this bone meal and we just throw it in right there. I don't need that glass block. Yeah, see, so now that'll run. Yep, there we go. So then we'll just collect all the moss, and then I'll have composter machines in here. So if I want to make a ton of bone meal, then I can just, put all of the moss and greenery towards bone meal. But then that way I can also collect the carpets, the moss, the little bushes, and the seeds, all of which are useful because moss is great for, changing up grass textures and decoration, and for the creation of mossy bricks and mossy cobblestone. The carpets are also good for decoration. The bushes are good for the leaves. I love azalea leaves, the little azalea bushes. And then we're actually going to collect the seeds too. One, because they're good for composting, but two, one of my future builds is, we've talked about this too in the first episode, how out here on this hill, we're going to turn this into farmland, and we're going to need a stupid amount of seeds to get all that turned into wheat. And that's not going to be fun, but we're going to do it. And so, yeah, we're going to need to keep all those seeds. Anyways, yeah, this is the moss farm. See, it just turned off. And you can see what we got. So that's pretty good. And this is just what I've saved over time from it running and whatnot. But yeah, so with that, let's go ahead and let's get started with this build. Alrighty, first wall of this build done. And yeah, it gives us a good idea of the style of build that we're doing and the texturing and whatnot. So as you can see, we've got like a stone base. We've got, a mixture of smooth stone slabs, smooth stones, and polished andesite with just some regular stone. And we sneak some tuff in there. The main part of the walls is a mixture of brick, granite, and dirt. And then in kind of some darker areas, we kind of sneak in some stripped spruce logs and even a little bit of acacia. And the whole point of this is, so like on this build right here, it was very uniform and even, and we just kind of snuck in some differences every now and then, like polished granite and some mud and whatnot. Whereas this one, we're going a lot more in detail. And so we've got all kinds of different grays going on. We've even got some, walls and some spruce stairs. And then we've kind of got these gradients, where we're going from darker up in this corner, slowly up to light. And you can see it over here too. We've got some kind of moss overgrowth. And in other panels too, so like three other sides, you'll see a lot more of these gradients and whatnot. And so up close, this might look a little busy and chaotic. But honestly, that's kind of like how the build community is transitioning. We're kind of focusing and, whoop, gotta sleep. Oh, can't sleep yet. I'm the worst at timing when you can and can't sleep. Up close, this build can look chaotic, but that's kind of the way, build styles are transitioning. We've kind of gone from like the symmetric everything to this kind of asymmetric where we add a lot more texture. And up close, it does look kind of chaotic, and that's fine. It might be some people's preference that all of this little chaos doesn't look as good. I still think it looks really good. But these builds are meant to be seen, from a distance. So like as we go back further and further, we start to see, like, oh, like there's some shadow right there, and over here it's darker and it comes down, and you know, we can see how there's a little divot right there and how it breaks down right there. And so it just gives it some, some character, some difference in how it looks and whatnot. And so, yeah, so all four sides will eventually kind of look like that. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and finish all of those walls now. I see you over there. They don't look like they're up to any good, do they? That's actually a pretty decent sized party. Got a couple crossbowmen. The Capitan. Luckily for us, our village is way over there. It might be fun actually to go out there and start a raid, but don't really have any reason to do so. And they're not going to wander over there to the village, so we'll be just fine letting them be. Oh, we had some pillagers show up right in the middle of the build, and they decided to charge me and attack, so, yeah, let's show them who's boss. Well, as you can tell, that raid was very successful, and they did not get me a single time. Alrighty, everybody. One build later, and here we have it. The exterior of the new Moss Farm building is complete. So as you can see, this is that front wall that we first saw. Nothing has changed here except for we just added this lamp and this little machine doodad. We come over here to the left side, and we can see, very similar patterns. We've still got this gray stone on the bottom. This one we've got a lot more, kind of overgrowth with some more bushes and whatnot. And then we've still kind of got these like, some dark patches and whatnot. Here, we kind of went a little black with some cobbled deep slate. Wrap around to the back. It's a lot more plain. We've got some, kind of gray right here that comes down, some more overgrowth. Right here, we're going to put some sort of, like piping or machines that comes out and goes into the ground. We haven't toyed around with that yet, but that's why I kind of left these two blank, because they're going to be a lot more industrial walls. But yeah, so we've got a little window here. We've got, we've got some vents right here. So what we tried to kind of show is, keeping these color tone darker to make it look like, like maybe some soot or something is depositing up against those. Then we've got a little ladder that goes up to the roof, and then some more overgrowth with a little bit of a machine right here. The roof is relatively simple at this point. I'm sure we'll come back and make some changes. But, we've got some machines here, here, and here with some piping that goes into this water tank, another big machine. This water tank's pretty cool. I like it, looks nice. And then we've got a little bit of a smokestack. The smokestack, doesn't do anything on the inside. I just needed something to break it up. So like we said, all of these builds, like this is all designed to be kind of seen from a distance. So if we come back here and take a look at it, then we can see, we've got some overgrowth, we've got a little bit of a dark area, and this dark patch right there starts to look a lot, it all blends together and looks a lot better. And same with the grays. When we use this, I think this is light gray terracotta, and we use all these different colors right here, they all kind of start, kind of whistled right there. They'll kind of start to blend down and kind of merge those two colors, and it makes it look like there's a little bit of wear and tear, which is kind of what we're going for. This is a factory right here. This side a little bit blank right now. We're going to fix that later. The overgrowth looks cool. We'll probably do some terraforming around this with some moss and some other bushes, so it kind of emerges, so it's kind of immersed. That's what we're looking for. So it's kind of immersed into the environment. But yeah, once again, we can kind of see some blending in this area. And up here, we've got that dark little patch, which just looks like some color difference. And so from far away, that's really interesting. We go close and we can start to see, oh, look, we have some tough and acacia and then some stripped spruce. But when we come way out here, we can't see that there's acacia and tough. We just see gray. And even like these start to go brown, and like the dirt and the granite start to look the same, and the brick and the granite start to look the same, and that's how we kind of get that transition into that. And then, the last angle, we've got this side right here. This little building, I just went with something different with some different colors. I don't know if we'll keep the building obviously, but we might have to make some adjustments to that because it looks very just kind of stuck there. It doesn't really fit the rest of the building. So yeah, so we're probably going to make some changes there eventually, but we'll let it sit. But this is the part that I really like. So see how we have the tough, the acacia, and then the stripped spruce logs all right there with all those machines. See, now it looks like there's a whole bunch of soot deposit right there, and it's darker from all those vents. And then the same thing you can see with that smokestack. Yeah, so like looking at it from here it's easier to tell because the transition is a little less subtle. It's a little more abrupt, but it just looks like there's a whole bunch of black soot from all this smoke that's been depositing right on top. And so yeah, so like that's the whole idea of that. And so yeah, that's the whole idea of all these different colors we use. We use these colors to kind of tell a story with the build. Oh, this is a slightly different color because it's eroded. This is green because it has overgrowth. It's darker back by those machines because there's soot buildup. And so we can use these colors to show that. And then even up close, it looks very interesting up close because you're like, whoa, look at all the stuff that's going on. So yeah, come inside. Haven't done anything special in here. It's just a big empty room. We haven't, left some scaffolding. Got to snag that. So yeah, so I'm not going to say what the interior is going to be right here, but it'll look, industrial and cool and whatnot. It leaves us like a little bit of space. Actually, it might not be any space right here, but there's a little bit of space right here, which we'll just kind of, maybe make like a tiny little cactus farm so we can just generate cactus while we're here. And then in here will be the storage. And we've got a bunch of blocks. Alrighty, everybody, we're done with the interior, so let's go take a look. So this first building, is a warehouse. This is more of an industrial factory style building, and so we kept the industrial look on the inside. And by that, I mean we've got this big old mess of a machine. So we've got the moss farm, which was in here previously, and then we've added all of these black pipes going into it, pumping out water and pumping in lava and whatnot, which makes sense because, we have lava on both sides and then water that work in the machine. And the lava pipes connect right into where the lava is, and they go back to these machines right here. One there, and there's one right there as well. And so this right here used to be our old composting station. So I'm actually going to take this and let's see, I think I am actually short a barrel. Yep. Actually, I'm just gonna we're gonna take all the barrels in the chests, because right over here is our storage area. And so right here we're going to add let's see, we're actually gonna get rid of that one. I'm gonna put that chest right there, that barrel right there, and put that there. And this will be our bone meal. We'll store most of it as bone block, actually. And honestly, I actually think I need to... Oh, forgot a block right there. I'm probably actually going to swap these two and do carpets here, bone blocks here. But anyways, we'll put all of our moss blocks in here. These will be azalea bushes. These will be the flowering azalea bushes. And then these will be all like the seeds, just because I need a place to put them for now, because we'll need them later. And then while we're in here, I also have some vines that are growing, so we can harvest those, and then cactus growing as well. So we can just start collecting that. Eventually, we'll make like a greenhouse where we can put the cactus, the vines, and all of that. But we can walk up here, and we can see all of the stuff that we've collected from the farm. And I'm actually going to go collect as much of it as we can. And then we walk on over here to these barrels, and this is our new composting center. So we can just throw all this in here. Each one of these goes down below to another barrel and composts. But yeah, so then this catwalk comes over here. We can see all of the redstone. We can access the clock down here if we ever need to. Walk back up, and then we can come up top here, access all this redstone, and get onto the machine. So we have complete access to everything we need on the machine. And then this just wraps around. And so, we get that kind of cool industrial wood walkway area with the building as well. And what we're going to do right here, not so sure yet. We'll see. We might just leave it open, maybe expand storage for bone blocks or something. It's actually not a bad idea to put that back. Let's actually do that. Now that I think of it, we'll put the chest back here, and then we'll pick this guy up with all the bone meal. And we'll probably just start collecting bone meal in a corner over here or something. We'll just throw that in this barrel for now. And this will be like where we put all the bone blocks and whatnot. But anyways, there we have it. Decorated interior for this building. As always, everything is always a work in progress, Even though we may say a building is done like that one, I'm sure we'll still make some changes. We'll still make some changes here. That house out there, probably not going to make that many changes just because that's kind of our baseline. We don't really want to touch that. But with that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can beat the YouTube algorithm. And I'll see you in the next one where we've got a new build going in right over there on that little hill. So I'll see you then, everybody. Thanks for watching.